We are going to talk about very easy ways to create dynamic and dependent drop-down. Is a mouthful, but the truth is, I just want to reflect what we want to cover. So hopefully you will see why I needed to write it in a very long way like this. Okay, I can see Mr. Okay, I see your reply. Awesome. So let's dive in. I've created the practice file. So I've created the practice file. Let me switch my recording, my screen share to the screen with the practice file. I was even planning to upload the practice file ahead. But for this one, it would be nice to upload the version that has the final result. So I will upload afterwards then. I can always upload later. So let us first do the work. And then, so I hope you can see my screen. Let me increase my zoom. So can we all see my screen? Shall I go on with the assumption that you are able to see my screen? I need to... let me drag this one here then. This is DVC. Okay, we'll manage it this way. All right, so great, thanks, Mr. J. All right, so here is what we want to do. We want to put in a drop-down list here. You see, in this data, there are different regions. So this data has about 5,000 records. Different regions. You know, I use the geopolitical region so that it will be easy for me to follow along. So different regions, and in different states in the region. So we have branches. Jesus Christ, I must have typed rubbish in here. Hey, Jesus Christ. How did I manage to put North Central under North Central? I made a mistake with the formula I did. We'll manage it like that. So you see there is Northwest under Northwest, North Central under North Central. Maybe if I have time, we'll correct it together. Maybe you will use that opportunity to learn how I actually did this from scratch. But for now, let's first even do the main thing. So there are different regions. Each region has different branches, and these are all the transactions that happen. So I want to do a drop-down list. Now, this my drop-down list should capture for me the regions in here. Then when you pick a region, right, it should show only the branches in that region. Did you get what I've said? Drop-down list, region. When you pick a region, it should show only the branches in a region. And when you pick the branch, then this should populate to show whatever I want to put there. We'll talk about that later. So let's start with how can I get the unique list of the branches? So for something like this, sometimes you want to create I used to call it a setup sheet. But in this case, let's not worry about that. Let's even do everything in here, and then we'll see how we can clean things up. So there's a formula in Excel. There's a formula called unique, which if I type unique, and I supply into unique, that it should get for me all of the unique entries in this branch, in this region. So if I do that, okay, so all of that gave me the unique list. You see what will happen. It gets for me the unique list, right? Now this unique list is what I'm going to put in here as a data validation that will drop down, that will expand to have these options of regions. So if I go to data, which is where you see data validation. So if you go to data menu, I scroll a bit to the right, I see data validation, I pick it. So when I pick it, I'm going to tell it that I want to set it to list. So as setting it to a list, I want it to be this as source. Source should be this. But not just this as an outcome, right? So there's a small trick to it. If I put this as an outcome, it is not going to be dynamic. But then if I put, let's go one step. Okay, we'll come back to this. Let's first do this. You can see it's working, right? It's working. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to say we now have a new region. We call it South Central. I don't know whether that will ever happen, but let's say we have a new region, South Central, right? South Central. If you look at my data, it is reflected South Central. East, South, region.
Mr. Michael, we can't see your screen. We can't see your screen, please.
Okay, are you on the phone or tablet? Are you joining from the phone or tablet?
I'm on a desktop actually.
Your desktop. Okay. All right. Let me stop sharing and reshare and see maybe because I have two screens and I'm seeing on the other one, so that was what I'm going to be sure. Okay.
But it appears I'm not the only one. I can see a few others.
Yes. Okay. Some can see, some cannot see. So I'm resetting it.
All right.
Thanks. So I've done a reset. Any luck? Is it showing now?
I'm seeing a black screen. It's not coming up yet.
Okay, I'll wait once you confirm.
Yeah, it's up now.
Okay, maybe it's the zooming I do. Maybe I won't zoom again. So someone is even saying maybe it's the zooming that is causing it. All right, I won't zoom again. Where was I? Let me go back one step. Let me undo. Did you see me do this part where I added the regions to region as a drop down? Mr. Atunde? Okay, no, somebody else said no. All right, so
I can see you now.
Can you please start again?
Okay, I will start again. So undo, Control Z, great. So I'm starting all over. So in fact, to compress the introduction, this is the data we have. Different regions, different branches. I want to do a drop down here so that you can be able to pick any region, and I want to make it dynamic and depend. How did I put it in the title? Dependent, is that the word I use? Anyway, once you pick a region, if you pick Southwest, then you will see only branches that are in Southwest. If you pick what other thing? If you pick North Central, you will see only the branches that are there. So is that clear? Are you getting my explanation? So I'm going to start gradually. Then we'll clean our steps. So let's start like breaking it into different small steps, and we can combine later. First of all, I need to get all of the regions. I need to get them dynamically. So there's a formula in Excel called unique. So if I type unique, this was where I started zooming, but since the zoom, you confirm that the zoom sometimes causes issues, so I won't zoom again. But can you see my screen clearly? At least you can see what I'm typing. Or what else can I do now? Can you see what I'm typing? Or should I try to zoom, then you can confirm if the zoom did not break things again? Okay, it's showing. Okay, so let me try the zoom. I'll be monitoring the chart. If you say it has broken again, then I will not zoom again. Okay. So the formula is called unique. Once you type unique, it gets a unique list anyway. That's why it's called unique. I'm going to select all of the regions. So I'm selecting all of the regions, right? And once I select all of the regions, close the bracket, and I say enter. You see it gives me the unique list of all the regions. Right? Are you following? Now, if I come into region and I say I want to add data validation, I go to data menu, go to data validation, and this comes up, right? And I say that I want to create a list, and then so the screen is not showing again. Wow. Is it showing now? Okay. Mr. Cinema, is it showing now? Once I get a confirmation from you, I'll carry on. So you can actually see the screen. It looks like we are two classes. Some of us are constantly seeing my screen. Okay, I'm just waiting for a confirmation from Mr. Cinema. You're the one who drew my attention to the screen not showing. How about now? Okay, maybe I'll carry on. I'm assuming you can see it. Two people. Okay, I'm going to stop and restart now. Then I will no longer zoom. We'll manage whatever you see on the screen. All right, so right now, can you just confirm if it has come up? So I won't zoom again, and I will just carry on. Luckily, we will record the session. So if there's anything that looks tiny, you can always watch the recorded session and like maybe yourself zoom. Okay, good. So we can all see I'm going to carry on, no more break in transmission. So where was I? Great. So I say I want to do, let me just start this part again. Data validation, and then I set it to list, and I say that I want to add all of these as my options. Now I'm telling us there is a better way, but I want to show you first of all what will naturally come to you, and then what the adjustment you need to do is. Now if I select this and I say okay, what will immediately happen is that from now onwards, I'm going to start seeing all of these as the options, right? But then if I come in here and we create a new region, so I call the region South Central. This region, once I had it, what you will notice is that there is now a new region, South Central. It has pushed down the region of Northeast, right? If I go back here, I'm seeing it. Northwest, North Central, South South, South Central, Southeast, Southeast, Southwest, Southeast. I'm not seeing Northeast anymore. Why? I'm no longer seeing Northeast because the data validation I did, I limited it to just the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. How can I do my data validation such a way that it will be expanding and contracting, in line with the amount of records that come out in my original formula? So are you ready? So we are going to do that. So I'm going to clean this data validation because it's not doing what I want. So I'm going to back out of this one, clean it, so clear all, right? So what I'm going to do is what we call a dynamic function. Let me just call it dynamic array function. You see, what I was doing before was I was selecting only the first couple of records. But if you select everything to the end, you see that it shows as a very different way. It's showing M12 hash, right? M12 hash. Unfortunately, I can't zoom my screen again. Let me see if I just do this one here then. Instead of zooming, I select all of this. Can you see what is happening on my screen? It's coming up as M12 hash. Why? it's coming this way because the source of my formula is a dynamic function, dynamic array function. I use the dynamic array function unique. So this function has a way that when you pick it, is one formula you type that expands up to multiple cells. So you can always call it up yourself too by clicking the first cell. If you click only the first cell, you see only the first cell's answer. So no, click the first cell and add the hash sign afterwards. So if I had the hash sign, boom, it always captures the entire outcome of that formula. So that is what I'm going to use in my data validation. So I'll redo the data validation. Data validation list, and then source of list, right? I picked the first and I had the hash sign. You saw me do it just now. I had the hash sign. Apologies, I can't zoom because when I zoom, some of you get knocked off the screen share. So I do OK, and voila. See? But the beauty of it is that it expands and collapses. Let's count. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 options, right? If I go back here and I change that my South Central, there's nothing like South Central. Abia is actually in Southeast. So I correct that. So guess what? I am back to only the normal 6 geopolitical regions in Nigeria. So my list is no longer 7 but 6, right? Come here and check it out. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it expands and contracts along with the data that I have. So it's dynamic. So I've even gotten that part of the title of today's session that says dynamic list. So now let's talk about how to now make the branch dependent on that. So how do I make it that when you pick Northwest, I'm going to have only branches that are in Northwest? Are we ready? So here is it. There's a formula called filter. So let me just write the name of the formula. Filter. It's another dynamic array function. Filter. Filter. I do filter. I pick my entire array. So in this case, for me, what do I want to filter? I want to filter the branches. So I want to filter the branches by what? So I want to include only when the answer, the branch is whatever you have picked here. It's only in the region you have picked. So in this case, where the branch is only in the region, so I'm going to say where the region is equal to whatever region you have selected here. Okay. So it will filter for me and include only answers where those are the branches. So when you pick Northwest, it's only going to get for me only the branches that are in Northwest. It's going to filter. That's the right word to use. It's going to filter. Let me just again go into the formula. See, filter. Let's do it again anyway, because I know it can be a bit not so easy to wrap your head around. Filter. Now my filter requires on the minimum 2 things. The list I want to filter, almost like the normal filter you do in Excel, but now with the one you used to do with the normal click and drop down. This one is now with a formula. I want to filter the branches. So that's the first thing I'm selecting, all of the branches. That you need to provide what you want to filter. By what? What's the logic now? What should it include? So I want it to only include records where the branch, not branch now, where the region, records where the region is equal to the region the user has selected in region here. Okay, are you getting it? Right? So that's what will happen. I'm going to have this list of all the records of branches that are for Northwest. So I'm almost there, except that there's a lot of duplicates in here. There's Zamfara, that like it's just replicating them everywhere it sees as it sees them in the original table. So what do? I'm going to wrap the outcome in unique. So I say, okay, now don't just repeat them, just give me the unique list. Great, so it gives me the unique list. The way I need to do a correction to my data. So Northwest here is meant to be, there's a state. Sokoto, let me just replace all of Northwest there with Sokoto. Control H. Because Northwest is not a branch. So I made a mistake when I was doing the data. Good. Let's even do that. North Central should be, that North Central actually, Benue, that should be there. Then that South, the rivers that should be there, South, rivers. Then Southwest is Lagos. Replace all. I'm left with North. There's Northeast. That Northeast should be no. Wait. So because so this should be clean now. Great. So I'm not supposed to have a region as a state again, as a branch. So let's check this out, right? If you come in here, you change this to Southeast. Can you see that the state changes also, right? The state changes. If I come in here and I change this to North Central, changes, right? If I come in here and I change this to, so you get the whole idea, it changes, okay? I thought I did Southeast. I did Southeast. Control, find and replace. Maybe I need to Southeast. Southeast should be, okay, that's strange. There's no more Southeast. Where is it picking Southeast from? Let's just see for ourselves. That's what happens when you cook up data and you cook up data too much in a hurry. Some errors keep. Okay, looks clean. Okay, all right, that one, let's just call it a bug. But you got the functionality, you come here, you pick. So just take a look at the formula again. Unique of the filtered of this entire branch table by where the region is equal to the region that has been selected here. Okay, so now that that is clear and out of the way, how are we going to use it here in our branch? That's the super nice part. So what do? I go in here to data validation, go in here to lists, and then as we did before, I pick the first and I give it a pound sign. Apologies that this might be looking really tiny on your screen. The display on the screen doesn't move. Wrong column. Oh, there are two. I think I will just have to start zooming. Some people can't see it, like it's too tiny, right? Okay. Let me try something else. Let me try. Let me try to. Zoom my display. So I'm going to try to zoom my display. Tell it to do really large. Let's see if that will help. Okay. So it's trying to resize all my displays. Great. Okay, so this should be maybe better without me having to use the other zoom. All right, so let's go back in here then. So what do? I'm going to go in here and do the data validation all over. So I go to data menu. This should be visible, I hope. So I go to data menu, data validation, right? And tell it that I want to do a list. So this is really clear. And then I say, if I try to pick all of this, remember the issue, it will not expand and contract with my list of options. So what do? I pick only the first one and I add the pound sign or hash sign, whatever you like to call it. That is what I do, and voila. No, I should be doing that on the wrong, on this. I should be doing that on this one, this one. So I had the pound sign, voila, right? So this is what I mean by dependent list. You come in here, you pick this, and instantly the options you will see here will be states in North Central. You come in here, you pick Southwest, and instantly the states that will pop up as options here will be states in Southwest. Is it clear? Did anybody miss out on anything? Is there anything I need to repeat before I move to adding some extra complexity on it? Is it clear? Did you get the whole? Okay. All right, so let me just maybe do it one more time, but really quick. So I'm going to delete this, delete this. So I'll do it one more time. It will be fast. I'm going to delete this, delete this. So at least now you understand what I'm trying to do. I want to get the unique list of branches, or let's start with regions. So what do? I come in here and I use a formula called unique. So equal to unique, and I tell it to give to me the unique records in these lists, right? And that's what it does. It gives me the unique record. Now this outcome, I have to use it in my formula, in my data validation here, right? So I explained to us that if you if you select it this way, when you are doing your data validation, it will not expand and contract as the list expands and contracts, right? So what did I mention? That, you know what, just pick the first value and add an hash sign, a pound sign, and boom, you will get the list out from that, right? So what's the magic? Add a pound sign. Okay, so I'm going to do that now. Go to data validation, list, pick the first record, add the pound sign. Why this is possible is this new way of doing, whenever you use a dynamic array function, you can always call up the answer, the entire answer, by picking the first cell and including the pound sign. So I do that, and voila, we are done with that portion. So I now said, what will make my branch to be dependent on the region selected? I use filter, right? What am I filtering? I want to filter all the branches. So I'm filtering the branches. By what? I'm filtering them based on the region they are in. So I want to say, go filter by the region they are in, and pick only where the region is equal to the selected region that you have picked in the region drop-down. Did you get that part? Are you seeing that? Good. And I close my bracket. So this is what gets us halfway to where we are going. Instantly, I'm able to see all of the branches that are in my selected region. If you change this now, if you come in here and it changes region to southwest, where we are, you'll see it starts showing Lagos and Ogun and Osun and like that, right? So you are seeing the outcome and it's working the way it should work. But then there's a lot of repetition, right? I don't want my list here to be showing that way. I want it to show to me the unique lists of those records, okay? So what do? I'm going to wrap the outcome of the filter in unique. And that's all. Once I do that, I'm going to get only the unique lists. So now, as we are done for region, I'm going to do the data validation all over and pick just the first cell and add the pound sign to it. And I say OK. And instantly, I'm going to have the branches. So if I come here, pick South, I'm going to see only branches in South. So now, is this clear? Let me save. So is this clear now? So I want to start adding some problems that will, maybe I shouldn't call them problems, but let's start thinking this is a real life data. And what are the kind of things that can come up in real life? And let's see if our work can accommodate those real life occurrences. So let's start with, number one is things will keep growing, right? Things will keep growing. Things keep growing means we can start having new records that will come in after I've created my report. So let me just go and grab some 10 records or whatever number of records, and just to mimic that and say these are new records that just came in after I had done all of these hard labor, right? Okay, so these new records that came in let's make it very obvious. Let's say there's a new state that we didn't have before that we now have, right? Let's just call it in Southwest, there's a new state, so that we will know if it's working or not. There's a new state we didn't have branching before, but now we have branching. Let's go check it out. When you go to this my already created one and you pick Southwest, right? I'm not having that new branch. Yes, so someone is asking me, did I use unique to remove the repeated entries? The answer is yes. So now, are you seeing the problem I am painting? I no longer have, not that I no longer, I do not have the new data in this, my existing work. And why is that? The reason is that in this work we have done, I had limited this to the existing data before new data came in. So I want to ask you a question. How do you think I can solve this? I want to get your own opinions. How will I solve this? So that as new data keeps coming in, they will reflect in my drop down. Like for instance now, I have created a state called new state and it's not reflecting, right? So any suggestions? I would like to hear some suggestions. So anybody want to give it a trial? Let's see your own way.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
I have a suggestion. We can select the entire column C, where the states are, by using A.
So instead of just
we select the entire column.
Yes, if I select the entire column.
Yes, then
the entire column.
I'll fix the first column there, then the other one will be dynamically moving downward.
Okay, so I have done what you said, sir. So this is the outcome.
No, you have to fix B, the first B.
I fix the first B.
Yes.
Like this?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still getting the same thing. So this is the outcome. Is this what you expected to come out with?
No, I was expecting it to go downwards, to select where there are values.
Okay, but I did the formula the way you wanted. I hope it's not like maybe I didn't write it correctly.
Yeah, unique B. So I don't know what is B is. Not central.
B is where the regions are.
Wow, that's what I thought.
Okay, so actually I think it's working, but it's doing more than what we want. Because now if my user comes here, he's going to see region is not a region, so I would not have wanted to include region. And then it's also adding 0, which is also not something I would want to include. Okay. So at least I know with this one it will capture any new thing. Let's say for instance, we go here and we had a new region and call it new region. Yes, it will capture it. I call this say Lagos decides to vex tomorrow and say they want to leave, they want to be seen as a region entirely. What you've said, I'm positive it will capture all of those. Let's go confirm. Let me create some space. Continue. Yes, I can see Lagos, I can see new region. So it's working, it has gotten us some progress, but it's also created some problem. So anybody has a way that you think will work like this, but not include region and not include 0. And feel free to use any, even if your way means we come in here to rearrange or do something drastic to the way the data is. I just want to get some other opinions. Mr. Sineme, your hand is up. Oh, Mr. Shea, sorry. Mr. Shea, I can see your hand up.
Yeah, sorry, I came late to the meeting. I just want to ask if there is okay, there is a recording. Please, how can I access the recording for this meeting?
Okay, it will be later, not today, most likely tomorrow. and I'll give you the link of where you will find it. So if you are already on the meetup, even a meetup these days, I forget to send email. Let me quickly just do it right now so that I don't forget. So I will send you the link of, we have a YouTube where we put all of the videos. Even though this one is not going to be there as of today, it will be tomorrow, it will be there. But let me give you the link ahead so that once you just check it by tomorrow or tomorrow night or Tuesday morning, you will have found the recording already there. So I'm pasting that YouTube now. This is where all the recordings are. Pardon my typo. Okay, so anybody wants to share another? You're welcome, sir. Anybody wants to share another way you think this will work before I do the one I had in mind? Okay, so if nobody is saying any more things, so I just have to thank Mr. Sadiq. He's the only one who has contributed. So I'm going to now redo the whole, do the method I have in mind. So the method I have in mind is table approach. And this brings me to why I think table is a very, very good way to keep data that will keep expanding, because it makes life easy. It makes you to be able to do formulas, do things in such a way that they will always work as your table expands, right? So just think about the problem I created. Imagine that I had already converted this to table before creating the problem. So I've removed the additional data. I select my original data. I tell Excel that it should have it formatted as a table, right? Doesn't matter the color scheme you pick. So I tell Excel to have it formatted as a table. Okay, so now it's as a table. Let me just go. Okay, so it's formatted as a table. I wanted to change the background color to, yeah, so it will look nice. Great. So with this approach, right, my formula, I can still do the same formula I did before and it will work. What was the formula I did before? Let's go check it out. The formula I did before was to do unique, right? And I select the region, starting from the first region to the last region. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm not doing a different formula. I do the same selection, but you will notice something. It has changed the name of the formula. See, before I go to the last cell, it's showing as a normal B225, whatever. When I go to the last record, the name changed, right? That name change is a dynamic one. It's a one that expands and contrasts with your data. So this is the one I'm going to use, okay? So I'm also going to do likewise for this one. So I'm going to just maybe wipe off all of this and do, let's start with filter. Filter, I do the same selection. Filter the branches by the region equal to the region the user selected, equal to the region the user selected, right? Let me just make that absolute, right? And you see we get similar outcome, and I'm just wrapping all of these in unique, right? And so I'm using the same thing, right? You see my outcome is still the same, but because I have changed the structure of my raw data to be a table format, I'm going to be enjoying the benefits of a table. So let's see the benefits that I'm talking about. So say we had new records. Let me just go add new records. Let's see, we have like I don't know, this many more, And let me just look for some records somewhere to dump. I need one more record from somewhere. Dump. Then let's change things. So let me even go to here and say this is a new region. This is a new region. Let's color it yellow so that you instantly know that I've changed something there. Let's say there is a new state. So there's a new state. So there's a new state. What will I call the state now? So there's a new state. Maybe I call it Sebaba. Right. So let's see how this would have been captured already here. Are you noticing my new region is already captured? Then state, that state, I think I put it under Northwest. We're going to see it anyway. So if you come in here and you change this to Northwest, can you see that Sebaba is also there instantly? So this is what I mean by when you change this to a table format, you get that advantage out of the box. It's something that you just get. You don't have to do any, I didn't have to do anything different, right? So that's one really nice thing about table format. And so whenever I'm doing this, I like to apply a table format so that my formula will always be smart enough to keep working after the data has grown or changed. Okay, so let's usually you want to put this, like I said, I like to put all of this maybe in a different sheet so that and hide it in the end. But for transparency's sake, let me just leave it where they are. Let me just drag it a bit to the. So now let's say I want to do a report that will show all the products that were sold in that branch and blah blah in that region. So now you should know how I will do this. Do you want to give it a try? So I want to see all the unique records of pizzas that were sold in this branch and in this region. Anybody want to give it a try? We have covered what we need to use to do it. I just want to see maybe if you can, put one and one together from what we have done and see that just one of the formulas we have used can be modified slightly to achieve this. So assuming anybody wants to give it a try, anybody? Going one, going two. There is one trick I used for one training I did last week. So I told them 2 weeks ago, I told them there's a gift. You win a plot of land in Banana Island. Anybody, if you get it correctly, if you give us an answer that works, there's a plot of land for you in Banana Island. That's your price. It didn't work for you guys. It worked for those people. All right, so I'm going to do it myself then. So, oh, okay, someone has answered. Yeah, you said unique pizza. Oh, sorry, I wasn't seeing your answer. Let's try it. So, unique pizza. But you answered before the Banana Island. I think you answered before the Banana Island. So I don't think it will yet apply to. I'm just joking. There is even no Banana Island house. I'm not sure if this will do it exactly, but we can always fine-tune your answer. So let's start with whatever you have said, and if it works, great. If it doesn't work, where has it failed? Where does it need to be adjusted? So I'm going to pick the pizzas. Okay, so I'm picking all of the pizzas, closing brackets, and I'm doing enter. So yes, it seems I have the pizzas. Okay, it seems I have the pizzas. So let's go and check if it is working correctly. So here is the question, or here is the trick. Let's pick a particular branch. So let's say Kaduna in Kaduna, we have a special kind of pizza that we sell only in Kaduna. So this pizza is sold only in Kaduna. Maybe the Kaduna pizza is what's that their governor? Right. Oh. You find pepper them pizza. Okay, so we only sell this in Kaduna. So I don't think this is working, because what that means is only when I pick Kaduna that I should see this pizza type. When I pick a different branch that we have not sold, we do not sell that pizza in, I should not see, you know. And for instance, this say Baba only occurred once, and it was only for pepperoni suya, right? So why am I seeing it, you know, having record for all of this? Okay, so what do you think we need to adjust in our, or what do you think we need to do to our formula for it to work the way I have described? Any contribution? Any opinion? Going one, going two. All right, so man, this person needs to collect a prize. So it says I should wrap it in a filter. I should add a filter, and that's the answer, right? So I'm going to wrap it in a filter and say, okay, you know, great, I need that pizza sold field, but first of all, you know, filter them in such a way that where the branch, let's start with where the region. So where the region is equal to the region that I have here, okay? And so I said an adjustment. I need to do two checks, region and branch, right? So I hope this works. So I'm going to use my residual Excel knowledge, which is one of two. I'm tempted to use this one, right? But let's use the one that is by the textbook. So let's say hand. Let's use a proper hand, okay? So that I don't use a shortcut that lands us inside the bush. So I'm putting it in hand and say where the branch is equal to the user selected branch. So it's equal to the branch selected here. Okay. So that's what I will now be wrapping inside the unique formula. So I'm putting a filter that says get all of the pizza, the product, but filter for where the products were sold in this region, and where the branch that it was sold is also this other region. So that's what I've done. Then I now wrap all of that in a unique formula, and we know why, so that there will be no duplication, right? So that's gone up in smokes. Okay, let me go one by one. Let's start with, let's say I remove this condition here. I'm going to cut it out. Let's troubleshoot. Let's see if this works. Okay, so that worked. So I'm going to okay, I'm going to do that. Should work. That hand should work. I don't want to do plus, but okay, let's try something. need to delete one. I don't filter inside the filter, but it looks like I might do it. So, but this is strange. I'm going to try and troubleshoot again. Let me knock this part off. Okay, so that worked fine. Okay. All right, I thought I got disconnected. I'm going to, okay. Sorry, let me quickly do it. Okay, so I'm trying something. Okay. I'm going to do that multiplication again. It's a very funny thing, but it should work. So I'm going to just wrap it. Okay, it could be a bracket issue. Let me do that multiplication again. Let's see where. Okay, where all of this is equal to this region. So I'm going to wrap it in brackets. So I'm going to like say this condition in a bracket like we normally do in some products. Let's see if that will, it won't complain about that approach. Let's see this, then this. So it worked. All right, so let's try another branch. That's very funny. So he wants me to put it in brackets. No problem. At least we figured it out. All right, so what we did worked. It's just a matter of a bracket problem. I'm surprised why hand didn't work, because that's what hand is for. But then it's a new formula, so maybe later they will make it more robust. So this is the only way we can try, or this one way. Maybe there are other ways, but the main thing is at least you can see that we are now capturing the two conditions, right? So the last part is I want to calculate the quantity. So I want to say count if. So count if the range, in my range, no, quantity will be sum if, sorry, quantity is sum if. Sum if, then my sum range is going to be, where is that quantity field? This is my sum range. Then what next do I say? I tell it that the criteria range, so that's the product, the pizza sold, right? Okay, then the last input is the, what am I interested in? Apologies, I've got it mixed up. Range for criteria first. You know, I keep mixing up count and sum if. So range for criteria first. The criteria range, then the criteria itself. So the criteria itself, which is so in my criteria itself, I'll tell you what we'll do. But let's just go ahead first of all and do the normal way we do sum if. So for the sum range,
Hello.
that's going to be quantity.
Hello,
Sum.
Kevin. Good evening. How you doing? Oh, thank God. Thank God.
Okay. I thought the person was talking to me. Where are we? Okay, so I think we've done all the things we need for the counting. We've provided the range of the criteria itself, and then the column that has the amount to sum up together for us. And boom, it does it, right? But remember what I said, if I drag this now, right? And you know we have a product called, where is that say Baba product? Okay, great. So if I go to a branch, can you see that now I have empty, 0, 0. And if I go to another branch that has a lot of products, Kaduna has more products, can you see it's missing a record? So again, how will I make this dynamic such that it will always expand with the number of records that came out of our dynamic formula here? Are you ready? So that's the last bit, and we wrap up today's session. It's the same thing I was saying the other time. That the same thing we did when we were doing this. Just add the pound sign in front of your first selection. That is all. Add a pound sign. That is all. Let's repeat. I go here, I pick say Baba, boom. Only for that. I come back here, I pick a branch that has a lot more records, boom. I pick a branch that has a lot more records. So is it clear? All right, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to save this and send to us. So your own assignment, your task is do for this, do for amount sold. I've tried. So it's your turn, do for amount sold. I'm saving this. Let me upload, then I share the practice file with us. Then you try your luck. But hope you understood all of my explanations. Where is that my upload to again? That's the issue with that my screen zoom. Everything looks so big now. I'm struggling to find. Let me just use this. Any questions? But did you get all what we have done today? This is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to upload the practice file. So the practice file. So is there anyone who has gotten an idea of like, oh, this will make a lot of sense for a particular report you currently do, or it would be nice to hear? Anybody with such a scenario, you found out that there's something you do, and this thing we have done will plug in nicely with what you've been doing before now. So here is a practice file. Okay, so I've come to the end. Just a small mention of our sponsor. So our sponsor is UrBizEdge. I'm smiling because it's as if I'm advertising also, but my team members, he said maybe I should no longer come to the office from every Sunday that I do not mention that. So our company name is UrBizEdge. We are into just training on data analysis training. Where is that screen? And Excel training and all of this. So if you are interested in our service, we'll be happy. You know, if you just reach out to us. We provide training that does not end at the end of your training, at the end of the 2 days or 3 days, whatever number of days. We try to help you ensure that you learn, you understand what we have been taught. So these are part of the things we do to help our participants to really. So you can always email us at those email addresses. You can give us referrals. You can call us on 0700 analytics. What other things do people mention? So more business we send our way, they will be able to collect salary and be able to keep doing these webinars. So thank you very, very much. And I hope you've seen the practice file. I've shared it. So see you next week. And for those of us that are interested in Power BI, there's a session on Power BI coming up. Let me see if I can pull out the details for you. So we even have a guest presenter. So if you're interested in Power BI, this would be really a nice session for you to join. In less than an hour from now. So if you join the Power BI at 6 p.m., this is the session we have. So this is our guest. He's going to present on Power Query, how you can clean up your data reliably and automated so that you don't keep doing it again and again. So it will be a very insightful session. If you have been part of the session before now, the one he did last month, I think, then you will know that there's always something to learn from him. He's an MVP and a lot anyway. So let me just drop the link. And if you are the person who you are very good with timing, you can just join directly at 6 p.m. via this link. Otherwise, you can use the other one I said to do a reminder for yourself, a calendar invite. So thank you very, very much. Have a nice week ahead. See you next week. And I think we have a lineup of guests next week. Let me just show you who our guest is most likely going to be. Unlike these last 2 weeks where I've been doing more of the talk, there's problem. I'm still going to be the one that will talk the most part of next week. So this is next week. So we have for Power BI, some feature I think he's also an MVP. Unfortunately, we don't have anybody so to be me again, or if I'm able to go and kidnap someone and force him to present next week. But from that onwards, we get to, it's like we are not getting people for financial modeling. All right, so thank you very, very much. Have a nice week.